Welcome, everyone, to the Forging Indestructible Self-Discipline podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about becoming an unstoppable force in pursuit of your goals. I'm your host, Jonathan Fontenot, and today we're going to talk about just basically understanding self-discipline. So self-discipline is often misunderstood as simply a matter of willpower, the ability to force oneself to stay on track, resist temptation, or push through discomfort. And while willpower does play a role, self-discipline is much broader and more nuanced concept. At its core, self-discipline is the ability to stay focused on long-term goals, consistently take actions that align with your values and aspirations, even in the face of obstacles or distractions out there. It is not merely about summoning strength in a moment of weakness, but rather it's about building a mindset and habits that allow you to make better decisions regularly. True self-discipline is about creating systems that encourage positive behaviors over time, which in turn make it easier to stay on course without relying on fleeting bursts of willpower. Self-discipline is also the capacity to regulate and direct your actions toward a desired outcome, especially when it requires effort or sacrifices. It's an internal guide that keeps you moving forward, not because you feel like it, but because you understand that small actions you take today will compound into significant achievements in the future. It involves making decisions based on your values and your goals, and not on your immediate desires or impulses. Self-discipline goes beyond simple control of impulses, though. It also includes the ability to plan, make thoughtful choices, and follow through on commitments over time, even when motivation fades. It's a long-term commitment to doing what's necessary, even when the payoff isn't immediate or obvious to us. Now, many people mistakenly confuse self-discipline with motivation. Motivation is the initial spark, the energy that pushes you to take action at the beginning of a task or goal. It often comes in waves. It's fueled by excitement, enthusiasm, or a moment of inspiration itself. And while motivation is crucial for starting a new venture, overall it's temporary and unreliable. We all know this. Some days you'll feel motivated, other days you just simply won't. Relying solely on motivation can lead to inconsistency and frustration. Self-discipline, on the other hand, is what carries you through when motivation wanes. While motivation can be high one day or low the next, discipline is a steady force that pushes you to act regardless of how you feel. It is about showing up every day, even on the days when the initial excitement is worn off, and taking the necessary steps towards your goals without waiting for motivation to return. Take, for example, a writer might be motivated to start a book, but self-discipline is what helps them sit at their desk and write day after day, even when they're not inspired or feeling particularly creative. It's about creating routines and systems that keep you moving forward, even when motivation isn't there to carry you. Another key misconception is that self-discipline is something you either have or don't. Many people think that some individuals are naturally disciplined while others simply aren't. However, self-discipline is not an inherent trait. It is a learned skill. I think we all know that. You can watch small children, you can watch certainly teenagers, and see that just like learning how to ride a bike or play an instrument or solve complex problems, self-discipline is something you can develop and strengthen over time with patience. I know that all of us have somebody who was so undisciplined and immature early in their life, but are now some of the most disciplined people that we know. Somewhere along the line, the light bulb came off. They realized that they couldn't continue with what they were doing. They started to act in more self-disciplined ways, had some successes, and now they're people that we probably look up to. And that is so true, because the more you practice self-discipline in one area of your life, Whether it's health, finances, work, or personal growth, the more it becomes ingrained as a habit. And habits, over time, become automatic actions that don't require constant willpower or mental effort. That is the beauty of self-discipline. It starts as a conscious effort, but eventually becomes part of your routine. It moves from the conscious part of the brain to the subconscious part of the brain, which just acts automatically. You can think of self-discipline like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it becomes. If you start small, say like committing to a daily habit of reading for 15 minutes or exercising for 20 minutes, you can gradually build up to more significant challenges. Over time, what once felt difficult will become easier and require less conscious effort. The key is consistency and building the skill of self-discipline, one small action at a time. That segues into consistency, which consistency is arguably the most important factor in developing and maintaining self-discipline. Discipline isn't about doing something perfectly all the time. It's about showing up repeatedly, even when it feels challenging or inconvenient. Consistency helps you build momentum, and once you have momentum, progress becomes self-reinforcing. When you commit to consistency, you create a predictable rhythm in your life, where good habits become ingrained and self-discipline becomes second nature. It's about making small, deliberate choices every day that align with your values and goals. Even when you don't feel like doing the work, consistency ensures that you keep going. Take the example of someone learning a new language. They might start by practicing for just 10 minutes every day. In the beginning, it feels like a small effort, but over weeks and months, this consistent effort adds up, and their proficiency improves significantly. If they relied solely on bursts of motivation, they would likely miss days, feel discouraged, and ultimately make slower progress. In the same way, consistency makes all the difference in self-discipline. It builds habits that become easier and more automatic over time. It turns effort into progress and progress into results. The more consistently you practice self-discipline in one area, the more it spills over into other aspects of your life, creating a powerful, reinforcing cycle of growth. Self-discipline, ultimately, is not about perfection or rigid control. It is about showing up, doing the work, remaining focused on the long-term vision, and especially even when the short-term challenges feel overwhelming. By understanding that self-discipline is a skill that can be developed and strengthened, you can shift your mindset from seeing discipline as something you're born with to something you can practice and improve over time. Through consistency and conscious effort, self-discipline becomes a habit. And once discipline becomes a habit, it becomes one of your greatest allies in the pursuit of success. I want to thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this part of the podcast and what we're talking about with self-discipline, and I hope it helps you on your journey to becoming that unstoppable force in the pursuit of your goals. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.